بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. So today we're gonna look at types of ma, أنواع ma. So the different kinds of ma, and we'll take a look at maybe about 10 different kinds of ma. In my list here I have about 9, but last minute I decided to add one. I was debating with myself, should I add it, should I not add it? But then I decided, you know what? Since I might never do these notes again, I decided to just add it there. So we're going to look at about 10 different kinds of ma, inshallah. All right. So the most important thing you need to understand about ma is that it can be ismiya, it can be harfiya. What that means is that the ma can be an ism, therefore it can have status, it can have type, it can have all the 4 properties of an ism, right? So it can behave like an ism, so you can call it a mubtada, you can call it a khabar, it can play different roles that the ism plays in a sentence. Or it can be ma al-harfiyya, and we know huruf, they don't have la mahalla laha min al-i'rab. So that's very important in order to understand how to do the i'rab of the ma that appears in the sentence, okay? Now, there are about 6 ma that are isms, and about 4 ma's that are harf. We're going to go in detail to see how that looks. So this is just basically the summary of the ma al-ismiya and al-ma al-harfiya. So under ma al-ismiya, we have ma mawsula, and we already covered ma mawsula some time back. Let me just make that bigger. We already covered ma mawsula some time back when we were talking about ismul mawsul and silatul mawsul. And we said that ma mawsula is adatu shart jazima. It makes both the 2 fi'ls majzoom. Okay, so that's just sorry, no, I'm talking about shart and I'm saying mawsul. Sorry, ma mawsula with the meaning of alladhi. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about here, ma mawsula, when we discussed ism mawsul and silatul mawsul. That's one. Then you have ma at-ta'ajjubiyya. Ma at-ta'ajjubiyya. We talked about ma at-ta'ajjubiyya when we discussed at-ta'ajjub. ما أفعله أفعل به. So صيغة التعجب comes in 2 صيغas, comes in 2 forms. That is ما أفعله and أفعل به. So we will look at some more examples just to clarify those issues. Then we have ما الشرطية. This is basically what I was saying. It's جازمة للمضارع لفعل شرط لفعلين basically. The 2 sharts, the 2 fi'ls are majzoom. So the fi'l shart and the jawab and the fi'l jawab shart, both of them are going to be majzoom. So ma shartiya, we're also familiar with ma shartiya. Then ma al-istifhamiyya, this is the questioning man, the ma of question. Yeah, so ما هذا الكتاب, ماذا تفعل, ما هو, whatever question word that you're asking. So it's an ism. So basically, in a sentence, it will be considered mubtada because it's an ism. Then you have ma al-mubhama, which is also called ma al-ibhamiyya. So ma al-mubhama or ma al-ibhamiyya. And this is the kind of ma that basically abhama yubhimu ibhaman is ambiguous. Okay, to make something ambiguous. So this is the ma of ambiguity, the ma that means something, you know, shay'an ma, something. Yeah, like it's ambiguous. It could be any, and we will take a look at what that means. Then you have another kind of ma called ma al-shay'iyya or ma al-waqi'a. This ma comes with bi'sa and ni'ma. Okay, so ni'ma hiya or bi'sa ma or ni'ma ma. Yeah, this is ma al-shay'iyya or ma al-waqi'a. So those are the kinds of ma al-ismiyya. Then you come to ma al-harfiyya. You have 4 kinds. We have ma al-nafiyya. And ana ma al-nafiyya, I know we looked at way back. We discussed when we were negating jumla ismiyya and jumla fi'aliyya. We said ma negates both jumla fi'aliyya and jumla ismiyya, but we didn't go into details of that. So there are actually 3 kinds of ma al-nafiyya. So there's ma al-amila, ma ghayr amila, and ma al-muhmila. And we will take a look at what all that means. So there are 3 kinds of ma of negation, and this kind of ma is, all of them are huruf, they're harf. So that's important to know. Then also ma masdariya. When we were talking about masdar mu'awwal, complex ism. We discussed briefly about ما مصدرية. So ما مصدرية plus the مضارع becomes مصدر مؤول, becomes the compound ism, and it is treated like a masdar. And we will take a look at what that means. So there are also two kinds of ما مصدرية. You have ما مصدرية زمنية and ما مصدرية غير زمنية. We will see what that means. Then you also have the ما that is حرفية, that is ما الزائدة, and we've come across several حروف that are زائدة. باء زائدة, من زائدة, what else have we come across? So now ما زائدة. There are so many حروف that are زائدة, and this is another one, and we'll take a look at that. Then lastly, we have ما الكافة. This comes with, like, for example, inna and her sisters, or maybe jar majroor, and we will also discuss how that works and what it means. So this is like innama. So that ma that comes with innama, it's called ma al-kaf. So that's the summary of basically what we're going to take a look at today. So we start with the isms, the ma that are isms first. We just do a summary of it, and then we'll look at the huruf afterwards. So we start with ma mawsula. We are familiar with ma mawsula. It has the meaning of alladhi. So if you look at a sentence and you can get the meaning of alladhi in that sentence, then that is ma mawsula. And of course, it's for غير عاقل, because we know man is for aqil, for intelligent beings, and ma is for unintelligent beings, mostly. There are some cases where that there's again, what I have come to learn about Arabic is that it's very fluid. It's not set in stone. So it's not, if we say this is the rule, doesn't mean that it's going to apply 100% of the time. Sometimes you have different things happening for a reason, and it makes even the language more beautiful and richer. Okay. And of course, it comes with a silatul mawsul. We know this. Ma is an ismul mawsul. It comes with its sila. For example, adraktu ma yukhfik. Adraktu ma yukhfik. Adraka yudriku, to be aware, to know, to come to the realization. So I realized, or I came to know, what scares you. Ma yukhfik, what scares you. Akhfa yukhfi. So ma yukhfik, what the thing that scares you. So I have come to know the thing that scares you. So if I replace this with alladhi, adraktu alladhi yukhfik, I have come to know the thing that scares you. All right? So it's referring to something. So that's basically ma mawsula. We have other examples here. So هذا ما لدي من الوقت. This is what I have. Okay, the thing that I have of time. This is what I have of time. This is the thing that I have of time. Again, when it comes to isim mawsul and silatul mawsul, it's referring to a thing. So it's referring to something, a particular thing. It's important to know that, and we'll see why. حدث ما كنت أخشاه. حدث ما كنت أخشاه. Whatever I was fearing happened. Whatever I was fearing. Again, you can use what or whatever to translate this ma. And of course, it comes with a'id. We know that. Sometimes a'id comes back. Sometimes a'id is inside. We know there are different kinds of a'id. We have inside. We have implied, which is most similar to implied. We have outside. You know, we have different kinds. Yeah, so just have that at the back of your mind as well. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ. So this comes in the Quran. بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ. And those who believe, بِمَا, believe what? Again, we talked about آمَنَ بِي yesterday when we were talking about intransitive and trans. So you see now it in action. I'm not going to translate this bi. Those who believe what? أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ, what was sent down to you. Okay. Those who believe what was sent down to you. So that's basically isim mawsul ma. We're familiar with that already. Then we go to the second category. And any questions so far, by the way? I think that's just basically we did revision there, because we've already covered that ma. So the mas that we've already covered, I'm just going to go rather quickly, because we've already done them in different topics. Also, ma at-ta'ajjubiyya, we've slightly covered it when we were dealing with ta'ajjub, siratu ta'ajjub. Now, the only other thing that maybe we need to talk about this ma at-ta'ajjubiyya is that it's considered common and complete. What does that mean, common and complete? Is that common, we know when we were talking about type. So we said these are isms. So they have four properties, and one of the properties is type, common or proper. And we know that ma is supposed to be proper. Okay, it's supposed to be proper. It's an ism mawsul for the most part, and they're supposed to be proper. Okay, but here this kind of ma is considered common. Okay, so you'll see it in Arab books. They will mention ma nakira, ma nakira. So a ma that is common by itself, and it is also considered complete, tam. You would see that in books. They will say it's also considered tam. So ma nakira at tam, or ma nakira tamun. Yeah. So, and what does that mean? Complete. It means it doesn't need a sila to complete its meaning. It's not a fragment. It's a complete sentence by itself. You know, ma comes with a sila to make that fragment complete. But this ma, it just comes with itself. It doesn't require a sila. It doesn't require something to complete it. Its meaning is complete by itself. How? Because it comes with the meaning of shay'un azim. It aggrandizes the meaning. It makes something, and that's why it is ta'ajjub. It makes it great. Yeah, it makes it amazing. It makes it big. So it has the meaning of shay'un azim, something great. Okay, and we already mentioned the two different sighas that it comes with. Sorry, the sigha that it comes with, the ta'ajjub, ma af'alahu. So you have the ma, which is ma at-ta'ajjub, at-ta'ajjubiyya. Then you have the fi'l at-ta'ajjub that comes with it. So af'ala would be the fi'l at-ta'ajjub. Then al-muta'ajjab minhu, which is the who, the attached pronoun in this case. Or it could even be an outside, like a maf'ul bihi that is not attached, but a direct maf'ul bihi, in other words. Okay, so that's ma af'alahu. That's the pattern it comes with. It also comes with af'al jamid. Okay, in this particular pattern also. Only in this particular pattern. Yesterday we talked about, did we talked about lazim and mutaaddi. We slightly mentioned jamid, which was confusing me. Yeah, but the idea is that this comes with, it's not in the aslama family, because we know aslama is mutasarrif, it's sarfifiable, it's not jamid. But these verbs that enter into this pattern and come with ma at-ta'jubiyya, they have to be jamid. You cannot do sarf of them, in other words. Okay, so ma ajmala does not, you can't do the sarf of ajmala. How beautiful. There's no sarf of ajmala. Okay, so it's a fi'l jamid, in other words, that comes in this pattern. It's not aslama family, it's just this pattern that looks like aslama family, but it's a fi'l that is jamid. That's important to know. Okay, so for example, ma aqbah al-nifaq. How ugly is nifaq? How ugly is hypocrisy? Yeah, so you're aggrandizing. How shay'un azim al-nifaq, in other words. So shay'un azim or shay'un qabih in this case. Shay'un qabihun al-nifaq. So nifaq is something so ugly. Yeah, something ugly. So you see this ma doesn't really require something else to complete it. Or if I said ma ajmal al-lughat al-arabiyya. Yeah, how beautiful al-lughat al-arabiyya is. How amazing Arabic language is. How, or an amazing, a beautiful matter, a beautiful language. The Arabic language is, something like that. I'm trying to just make it big in your mind, yeah, so that you can understand this ma. The other example here we have ma a'daba kalamuk. How sweet. A'daba, sweet. Adab is something that is sweet. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, because adaba is to punish, and you're like, isn't that? Yeah, so this is one of the cases where you take a root letter, ain, dhal, and ba, you put it in allama family, adaba, and it has the opposite meaning, to punish. So here is sweet, here is pain and punishment. Yeah, so you have an opposite meaning there. So ma a'daba kalamuk. How kalamak, how sweet your words are. Okay.
Okay. Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Can you just scroll up? You said like it comes with a jamid af'al. Means the verbs which cannot be sufficed. This qabih, jamal, adab, these all are not isms, Sister Ham, and we are putting in the pattern of af'ala.
They are, but we're not putting them in the pattern of af'ala as in aslama. It's not aslama family, this one. We don't say aqbaha yuqbihu iqbahan. Yeah? So it's just qabih, which is qabaha, the root words, which means ugly. And then it becomes fixed into this word, and you cannot do the sarf of this word. Af'ala basically aqbaha yuqbihu.
Yes.
Yeah, so when it comes in this pattern, it's jamid.
I mean to say, like, you're taking the root words of the ism and putting up in this pattern af'ala, and that you call is a jamid af'al. That's it.
Yes. Basically, yeah, that's the idea.
And then what is this one? Then comes in the form of ma plus fi'il ta'ajjub. This we have this one, this kind of fi'il ta'ajjub is that one, right?
No, actually, when we were doing ta'ajjub, we said that there are actually two things, bayna combined two things. So you have a ta'ajjub, which is ma af'alahu and af'al bihi. Those are actually, if you look at books, that's the sighatu ta'ajjub.
Yes.
That's a ta'ajjub. And then you have ni'ma and bi'sa, that's madh and dham, praising and condemning. So that's like a different kind of thing, but we just sort of combined it together because it's more or less related.
Okay. So Sister Ram, this is ma, this one, and akbahu is ma fi'l ta'ajjub.
Yes.
And in nifaq is what is it? Mata'ajjab minhu.
Muta'ajjab minhu.
Muta'ajjab minhu. Okay.
Yes. The thing that is being amazed at. So I'm basically in this first example, I'm amazed at how hypocrisy is ugly. Like how ugly hypocrisy is. Yeah, so this is a thing that is being amazed at. This is the fi'l of, in this case, not amazement. Well, amazement, because it's ta'ajjub. So, and then this is the ma'a ta'ajjubiyya. Is that clear?
Yes, Sister.
Okay, good. So that's ma'a ta'ajjubiyya, basically, ma of amazement. Then we come to ma'a shartiyya. Maybe the other thing is, I think we talked about that, the i'rab of this. We talked about that. So you have ma'a ta'ajjubiyya, then you have the fi'l madi, and then you have the maf'ul that comes after that. And of course, it's going to be mansub. كلامك. Because it's the maf'ul. Right. Then we come to ma'a shartiyya. And we're also familiar with ma'a shartiyya because we did jumla shartiyya a while back. And we also said that, you know, ma makes both fi'ls in the sentence, in the jumla shartiyya, it makes both fi'ls majzoom. So it comes in conditional sentences, jumla shartiyya, and it makes both mudari' majzoom. For example, ما تفعل, so فعل يفعل, تفعل comes the majzoom version. من خير يحمده الناس. حمد يحمده الناس. Whatever of khair that you do, people will praise it. Whatever of khair that you do, so that's the condition, and يحمده الناس is the jawab of that condition. Right? We are familiar with this structure. So ما تدعو إليه تجده من الله. Whatever you pray for, you'll find it with Allah. So condition is whatever you pray for. The jawab, you'll find it with Allah. Simple. We're not going to spend a lot of time there. We're already familiar with that. Now we go to ma al-istifhamiyya. Maybe we haven't covered ma al-istifhamiyya in details. Sorry. Oops. Okay. I think that's better. Yeah. So maybe we haven't covered this in great details, but we've come across it here and there. We know it's a questioning ma. Okay. It's a ma that, you know, asks questions. And the thing is, with question words, they always come at the beginning of the sentence. So that's important to know. You'll always find a questioning word at the beginning of the sentence. always that they have priority in a sentence in Arabic. That's how the order comes. Okay? So it can even be the maf'ul bihi, but it will always come first in a sentence, even though it may be like the maf'ul bihi or something else. All right? So it is a questioning for ghair aqil, for unintelligent beings. It's not for intelligent beings. Again, 99.99% rule applies. So questioning for non-intelligent. This is important to know that with this particular ma, specifically and only this ma, when it comes with after a harf of jar, the alif is going to be omitted. So you have an, for example, it's a harf of jar. You add ma istifhamiya, ma of question, you get amma. You don't get amma. The alif disappears. So you get amma, fima, lima, whatever, bima. Whatever harf of jar you're going to put there, the alif is going, as long as it's ma al-istifhamiya, and only ma istifhamiya. It's important. Now, that is with harf of jar. But when it comes to ismul ishara and ismu mawsul, the alif does not disappear. So you say, ما الذي جاء بك? What brought you here? ماذا تفعل? What are you doing? So I'm asking a question, but the ma did not lose its alif. So that's an important rule to remember about ma al-istifhamiyya. And it has two ways of doing i'rab, because I know we haven't covered this before, so we're just going to cover it. So this is important to understand, okay? So we said this ma comes at the beginning of the sentence because it has priority in the sentence. So if it comes with a fi'l that is lazim, a fi'l that is lazim, okay? And yesterday we covered lazim. So for example, nama. If it comes with nama, for example, which is a fi'l lazim, then the ma will be considered mubtada because it's an ism. So mubtada khabar. Yeah, simple, done. Or if it comes with a fi'l that is muta'addi, we covered again muta'addi yesterday. So if it comes with a fi'l that is muta'addi, for example, kataba. Kataba is muta'addi, but the maf'ul bihi is not mentioned. So we know that fi'l muta'addi has to have a maf'ul bihi for the meaning to be complete. So if the maf'ul bihi is not mentioned, then this ma that came in the beginning, which is ma al-istifhamiyya, will be considered its maf'ul bihi, even though it's at the beginning of the sentence, right? So those are two ways. That is the first way in which we do the i'rab of ma, okay? Sorry, it will be considered mubtada. What am I saying? It will be considered mubtada if the maf'ul bihi is mentioned, okay? If the maf'ul bihi is mentioned, or if it's lazim. So basically, if the sentence is complete. Yesterday we said lazim doesn't require a maf'ul bihi to be complete, yeah? But muta'addi requires a maf'ul bihi to be complete. So if the sentence is complete, whether it's lazim or muta'addi, then the ma becomes the mubtada. It becomes a jumla ismiya. You have ma is the mubtada, and the fi'l and the jumla after it, which is a jumla fi'liya, becomes its khabar. Okay? But if the fi'l is muta'addi, but its maf'ul bihi is not mentioned, now the fi'l is not complete in a sense, then that way it becomes its maf'ul bihi. The ma of questioning becomes its maf'ul bihi. Is that clear? I hope that's clear. So you would see, depending
Sister,
on
how can sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Sister, how can a muta'addi cannot have a maf'ul bihi? Then it will be called as muta'addi, right?
It's not mentioned. It is muta'addi, but the maf'ul bihi is not mentioned.
It has a maf'ul bihi, but it is not mentioned.
Yes, maybe I should just write that whose maf'ul bihi is not mentioned. To make it clear. Yeah, so it is muta'addi. It's supposed to have a maf'ul bihi, but it is not mentioned. If it's not mentioned, then the ma becomes its maf'ul bihi, because it has to be complete, right?
There is some reason, sister, on why the maf'ul bihi will not be mentioned. I'm not getting
because
it.
the ma is going to be the
Can you
maf'ul.
give?
Because the intention is that the ma in the beginning is the maf'ul bihi of that fi'l, but because ma is a questioning word, has to appear in the beginning of the sentence. It cannot appear after it. So that's why. Yeah, did you understand that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe somebody is saying, is trying to say something, and they want to say this ma, this question, as the maf'ul bihi, but they cannot say it after. They have to say it before. Yeah. Like I cannot say kataba ma, like he wrote what. That's not sound in Arabic. You cannot say he wrote what. What did he write? Even in English, basically, you cannot say he wrote what. So in that same sense, you say what did he write, and then the what becomes the maf'ul bihi, right?
Okay. Okay.
Good. So we have some examples here. Let's look at them. So ما أكلت اليوم. What did you eat today? Again, you see, أكلت is متعدي. The مفعول به is not mentioned in a sense because it's actually ما, because I'm inquiring about what you ate. Yeah, so that's the مفعول به. أكلت ما. So you think about it like that. أكلت ما اليوم. But because this has to be at the beginning, I say ما أكلت اليوم. Or ما هذا الكتاب. What is this book? Again, this is just an اسم الإشارة المشار إليه, so this is جملة اسمية. No problem there. And we know that ما can question both جملة اسمية, جملة فعلية. We said it can come with اسم الإشارة. It can come with pointers. It can come with اسم موصول. No, we said اسم موصول or what? Yeah. So like ما الذي, for example. Yeah. And we said that, you know, the alif does not disappear with this too, but with a harf of jar, it disappears. So for example, in the Quran, it says, فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ. مِمَّا خُلِقَ. So this is min, harf of jar, plus ma, questioning word. Yeah. And that's why the alif disappears. From what was he made? The human being that I look at, from what was he made? It's a question. Yeah. Allah is asking us to take a good look at ourselves. What were we made of? And when you think about this ayah, subhanAllah, and we are doing this actually with the current reading advanced text with Sheikh Sha'rawi, and he's talking about, you know, human beings were made of sperm, which is like an ugly, disgusting fluid. That's our origin as human beings. That's where we came from, subhanAllah. From basically nothing, from something disgusting and low, and yeah. So we better take a look at where we came from. What is our origin? So that's mal istifhamiyya. Yes, Saima.
The first example, sister, ma akalta. So couldn't it be maza, because with the verbs we use maza instead of ma? Like maza tafalu.
Yeah. You can say ماذا أكلت. Yeah. Or you can even say ma. It's fine. Both is actually okay. But I know, yeah, basically for our own, let me not complicate things. ماذا. Let's make it that way. Because with a verb, it comes with ماذا. That's a good note there. So with a verb, yeah, we say ماذا. I just didn't want to repeat. Okay. ماذا أكلت اليوم? Or ما هو. Yeah, what is that? For ismiya, and for fi'liya, we have ماذا. Good catch. Thank you.
And in this last example, the Arab of it will be like, it will be a majroor. This ma istifhamiyya.
Yes. Yeah, because it's an ism, so it will be ism majroor.
Exactly.
Yeah. Then we go to the next kind of ma that is ismiya. This is now a new one. We haven't covered this. Maybe we mentioned it here or there, I don't know, but it's pretty new. So this is ma al-mubhama or ma al-ibhamiyya, the ambiguous ma or the ma of ambiguity. Okay, now this ma, when it comes in a sentence, its i'rab is going to be a sifa. It's always going to be a sifa. When you see this ma, that is ma al-mubhama, is going to be a sifa. So you already know the i'rab of it. It's done. And it has the meaning of some. Some is like ambiguous in general. Yeah, that's the kind of meaning that it comes with. Something, someone, some day, some place. Yeah, that kind of meaning. And it can be used for a tahqir, which is to belittle something, to make something small, أو التعظيم, or to make something great, to aggrandize a matter. Okay, so it comes to show how big something is or how small something is. For example, I think this you will understand better with the examples. So if I say أعطيته شيئا ما, and I want you to listen to how I'm going to say it now, and then you tell me, did I make it small or did I make it big? أعطيته شيئا ما. How does that sound? Small or big?
Small.
Small. Yeah, it sounds small. Like I gave him some basic thing. Like it was some small thing. It wasn't a big deal. But if I say أعطيته شيئا ما, I gave him some big thing, some amazing thing. So you see how it can be used to aggrandize, to make something big or to make something small. And it's just, it has the meaning of some. And you can see it's also, by the way, complete and nakira. It's also considered complete and nakira because it doesn't require anything after it. And it's going to be the sifa to whatever came before it. So something, yeah, for example. So in this first example, we have thing and then some. So I gave him something, some basic thing or some amazing thing, yeah. And then the second example we're looking at, لسبب ما تطلع الشمس من الشرق. For some reason, the sun rises from the east. For some reason, like I know the reason, like Allah makes it rise from the east, but you know, for some reason, it rises from the east. So just some reason, it's complete in its own sense. So it comes with that meaning of some. Is that clear? I know this is a new one, but it's pretty easy to understand. You know, if I say سأذهب يوما ما, I will go someday. I don't know when. It's ambiguous and it's general. It could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It could be any day. It's very general. It's very ambiguous, but it's just someday. Yeah. Or سأدرس ليلة ما, I will study some night. I don't know when, but some night, just some random night. Yeah. So that's how you say something, someone, someday, someplace. You use the ma al-mubhama. Then you go to the next one. This one I just added because I was really debating with myself whether to add it or not. So I just added it. Ma al-shay'iyya. It's also called ma al-waqi'a. And this one specifically comes with ni'ma and bi'sa after it. So you have ni'ma ma or ni'imma here. It comes in the Quran. Or bi'sa ma. Yeah, it also comes in the Quran. So that ma that comes with ni'ma and bi'sa, then it's considered ma al-shay'iyya, ma al-waqi'a. Comes with the meaning of shay, thing. Yeah, something. Again, the reason why I didn't want to add it because it sounds very similar to ma al-mubhama, but it only specifically comes with ni'ma and bi'sa. So that's why I was like, do I add it? Do I not add it? And also some books consider this kind of ma isim mawsul. They don't really consider it as a different kind of ma. So because of that, I was like, do I add it or not? But then anyway, let's just have it because you will see it in Arab books. They would say, they won't say these names when you're reading tafsir. When you go to tafsir.furqan.com and you put in an ayah with bi'sa ma, it won't say ma shay'iyya. It will tell you that this ma is nakira bima'na shay. Bima'na shay. That's what you would see. And you know they're talking about this. Yeah. So it's also considered common and complete, like we've just covered. So it's considered common and it's complete by itself. Doesn't have any other meaning. For example, in the Quran it says, إن تبدوا الصدقات فنعم ما هي. فنعم ما هي. So this ما here, which comes with نعمة, is considered ما الشيئية ما الواقع. So just remember it comes with نعمة and بئس. It's pretty straightforward like that. When you see نعمة and after it there's a ما, it's going to be this ما. Okay, it's nakira and it's common. And it's complete. For example, فبئس ما يشترون. Yeah? Any questions?
No, Sister Ram, I have just the doubt in the ma abhama. Ma ab. That is ma is considered as a sifa
Yes.
to whatever came, either it be ism or it be jumla ismiya or jumla fi'liya, right?
It's gonna come with an ism before it. So for example, sabab, for some reason, sababin ma, some reason. Shay'an ma, someday. Yawman ma, something. Yawman ma, someday. It's always gonna come with an ism. There's gonna be mawsul.
Oh, it's going to okay, only ism. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Saima, you have a question?
Yeah. This next ma, it is ma waqi. It is waqi'a or it is waqa'a?
Waqi'a.
Waqi'a.
Yes.
Kasra under.
Yes.
And this will be translated as like what only? How
Yeah.
beautiful it is, what they are.
Yeah. Yeah, what? Because it has basically the meaning of a thing. Ni'amma here. A blessing thing it is. What a blessed thing it is. Yeah, so in tubdu sadaqat, if you do I translate tubdu? Basically, if you do tubdu of sadaqat, then blessing, a blessed thing it is. Or فَبِئْسَ مَا يَشْتَرُونَ, how evil the thing they are buying. So it comes with the meaning of thing. So it's referring to that thing they are buying. Yeah. Yeah, so you see it's slightly different. Normally we just, if it comes with ta'jubiyah, would be like, how amazing, how incredible. But in this case, we're not going that direction. We're not saying how amazing it is. We're saying how basically how evil the thing they are buying. So that's why you would, some mufassir, some grammarians would say that this is actually ma mawsula, because it kind of translates the same way as a ma mawsula. How evil what, you'll even see that in translation, how evil what they buy, or how evil the thing they buy. Yeah. And that's why I was debating with myself, should I include it, should I not include it? It just kind of works like ma mawsula. But just for your own knowledge, be aware of something like this exists. And again, it tells you that Arabic is not like set in stone. It's a science that is developing and was developed. So it might have some, different opinions here and there, and you have different schools of thoughts. So people have different ideas. It's fine. It's good. All right. And those 6 are the different kinds of isms. So these are isms. Okay. Then we come to the huruf, the harfs. So لا محل لها من الإعراب. This one you don't have to bother with yourself. Is it a mubtada? Is it a khabar? Is it, proper, common? None of that, because it's a harf. Yeah, it's not isim. It doesn't have 4 properties. The first one is ma an-nafiya. Okay, so we covered ma an-nafiya. We did this when we are negating jumla ismiya, jumla fi'liya. But actually, like I mentioned, there are actually 3 kinds of ma. So the first category is ma, excuse me. So ma al-amila. Basically, that means the working ma. So this ma has a briefcase. It goes to work and it beats up on something that comes after it until it becomes its ism, and whatever comes after it becomes its khabar. Kinda like laysa. So we already covered laysa. Yeah, when we were doing kana and its ism, and we mentioned laysa, it's a negation. So this ma is kind of like laysa. So, and it's also called ma al-hijaziyya. It's also called ma al-mushabbaha bi laysa. The ma that looks like laysa or behaves like laysa. Yeah. So the working ma al-hijaziyya, ma that looks like laysa. All those refer to the same thing. Okay, so it makes the mubtada rafa. We know how laysa works. We know how kana and its sisters work. They make the mubtada rafa and it becomes its ism and the khabar nasab. Okay, so for example, ma huwa Muhammadan. No, he's not Muhammad. Ma hada bashar. No, this is not human. This is not a human being. Yeah, so hada is the ism of ma, basharan is the khabar of ma, and it's going to be mansub. We know this, or it's going to be in nasab status. I hope that's clear. That's just revision basically. Only the names here that maybe you had not heard of them before, but yeah, that's basically the first category of ma and nafiya. The working ma al-hijaziyya, ma al-mushabbaha bilaysa. Okay, the ma that works like laysa. Yes.
Along with it, it will be a mubtada then, right? Like laysa along with it is the sentence itself.
Yeah,
but then like
basic.
So this it is having an error, like we just mentioned like harf, so there's no need to be.
There's no, yeah. So that's why we are saying that the ism, this one will become its ism, but the sentence. So basically, the sentence initially was huwa Muhammadan, right? Muhammadun, sorry. Huwa Muhammadun, mubtada, khabar, right? But I want to say no, he's not Muhammad. So I bring in this ma that looks like laysa, and then I say ma huwa Muhammadan. Oops. Yeah. So that becomes, so this ma is a harf. It's not really an ism. So this is still our mubtada and this is still our khabar. Yeah. Even though we would say that this is the ism of ma, you would actually see the ism of ma.
I think it is like a stronger form of negation, right? As compared to laysa.
Yes, it's a stronger form of negation. And then in is the strongest form of negation. So you have la, then la or laysa, and then you have ma, and then you have in. Okay, that's clear. So we go to the second category of ma and nafiya, ma of negation. Now this ma is called ma al-muhmila or ma al-tamimiyya. Now, if you saw here, we mentioned something ma al-hijaziyya, and now we have ma al-tamimiyya. The idea is that this is the dialect of Hijaz, and this is the dialect of Tamim. Because you know Arabic is not just one dialect. We had the dialect in Hijaz, and we had the dialect in Tamim, and sometimes they differ a bit. So you have the Hijaziyya, they say, no, this ma will make the mubtada rafa, and it will make the khabar nasab. But then these guys, the Tamimiyya guys, they're like, no, you don't have to do nothing. If the sentence is huwa Muhammad, it just remains huwa Muhammad. For example, qadimun Ali, Ali is coming. I don't have to change anything. It's just going to remain Ali is not coming. Ma qadimun Aliyun. Everything is going to be rafa. So this is basically the opposite of what came before. So ma al-tamimiyya is the opposite of ma al-hijaziyya. It doesn't do anything. And the other way that you can remember this ma is by the name al-muhmila. So ahmala yuhmilu is to neglect. To neglect. So this is the ma that has a job. Remember, the first ma is a working ma. It goes to job. It goes to work on the ism, makes it rafa, and on the khabar it makes it nasab. This ma is like, I have a job, but I'm just not gonna do it. I don't care. I'm gonna neglect my job. So it has no effect. It does nothing. It's like, okay, you're rafa, fine. You're gonna remain rafa. It's okay. I don't care. So it does nothing on the khabar or on the, yeah. So basically the sentence remains.
Sister,
yes.
Ma al-jahiziyya can make it how when we have given a sentence. This is how we can make it out, like the difference between two. Like ma al-jahiziyya would be with the so hijaziyya would be with the pronouns, and this would not be with the pronouns.
No.
How would we find out the difference between two when the sentence is given? It is hijaziyya, and this is
if there's no tashkil. If there's no tashkil, is that what you're asking? Or if the tashkil is there?
No. How would we find out if the ma is not affecting at all anything? Then it would be like it is tamimiyya.
Yes.
and the mubtada will come later and the khabar will be the beginning.
Yes. Yeah, you would actually just see, like if I say, this is, you have, there's no way to look at this sentence. Qadimun Ali. Ali is coming. You cannot say, coming is Ali. You cannot say that. Doesn't make sense, right? So they allow for the mubtada to be later if there's no other way of saying it. Like it's understood, the meaning is understood. You cannot say coming is Ali. Ali is coming. So Ali has to be the mubtada, right? So that's, you understand the structure of the sentence from the meaning. But if there's no tashkil and you don't know, go with this one. This one is a more common one. And also, I haven't seen this ma at-tamimiyya in the Quran. It doesn't happen in the Quran. So let's just stick with what we know, this one. Because this is what even Ustaz taught us, that it makes the khabar nasab. So let's stick with this one because ma hada bashar, this is an example from actually the Quran, in the story of Yusuf. Yeah, so this happens in the Quran. This one doesn't happen in the Quran, but it happens in normal speech. So it's there. And the other way you know it is that it comes with illa. So if you see ma huwa illa, and the next thing is rafa, then that's, this ma is going to, then the kind of negation is going to be this ma at-tamimiyya or ma al-muhmila. The neglecting ma or the tamimi ma.
It would be like, he's not except but a liar.
Yes.
But he's not but a liar.
Yeah.
Nothing but a liar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. So those are two. So we go to the last one, the kind of ma of negation, the last kind. This is ma ghair amila. This is a ma that doesn't have a job. So the first two, they have a job. One does the job, the other one neglects the job. Okay, doesn't do the job. But the third one doesn't have a job. And this one comes with jumla fi'aliyah. So it only negates jumla fi'aliyah. If you see a ma, whether it's madi or mudara, and after it is a jumla fi'aliyah, then this ma is like, you gave me a fi'al. What am I supposed to do with a fi'al? I don't have a job with a fi'al. Give me an ism, I'll do a job. But with a fi'al, what am I going to do? So it doesn't have a job. It stays at home and it's like, I don't have a job. Yeah, I'm done. So this is the ma that negates jumla fi'aliyah. And it's called ma ghayra amila. And it negates jumla fi'aliyah. For example, ma kataba at-talibu. So ma kataba at-talibu. After it is a jumla fi'aliyah. This ma doesn't have a job to do. Clear?
Can you please explain this like once again, please? This one. Negates jumla fi'aliyah.
Yeah. So the first two, they come with isms. So ma huwa, ma qadimun, this is isim fa'il, ma huwa, ma hadha, all these are isms, right? So the first two, they come with an isim, so they have a job. But the second one neglects the job. It doesn't want to do the job. When it comes to this one, it doesn't even have a job. Why? Because it comes with a fi'l. Yeah? Normally the ma would work on an isim. But now you're giving it a fi'l. So it's like, I don't even have a job on a fi'l. What am I supposed to do? I'm not going to do any job. I don't have a job. So this ma negates only jumla fi'aliyah. Okay? And it can be both mudari and madi. It doesn't matter. So ma yaktubu, ma kataba, for example. Ma kataba talibu, the student did not write. Ma yaktubu talibu, the student is not writing. Yeah? Okay. And it does nothing. Okay. It does nothing in the sentence other than negation. And it's, of course, it's a harf. So
doesn't have any effect on the jumla failure, you mean to say? Doesn't have
yes. Yeah, it doesn't have any effect because it doesn't work on fail. It only works on ism. Yeah. Okay, great. Then we go to the second ma ismi, ma harfiya. That is ma masdariya. Again, we covered this when we were doing masdar mu'awwal, but we didn't do in details. So what's important to know in this one I'm going to take a bit of time, allow me, because it's really important to understand the difference. And also it can get very confusing with ma mawsula. So there are two kinds of ma masdariya. Okay, there's ma masdariya zamaniya. In our dream textbook, it's written as ma zamaniya. So it's not the masdar part is not mentioned, but that ma zamaniya is actually this ma masdariya zamaniya. So it can be ma masdariya zamaniya, or it can be ma masdariya ghair zamaniya. So it can either be of time zamaniya, or it can be without time, without specification of time. Okay, so those are the two categories of masdariya you need to remember. So the first one, the zamaniya one, ma masdariya zamaniya, again, is still a masdar mu'awwal. So it still comes with a mudari' or a madi, and together it will be a masdar mu'awwal, still be compound ism together. But it comes with words that denote time. It has some aspect of time. That's why we have zamaniya in the title of it. It has some aspect of time. So it can either come with the word zaman, waqt, mudda, whatever, any connotation of time, something that has to do with time, or some kind of dharf, also dharf of time. Yeah, and it has the meaning as long as. So when you're translating this kind of ma, you will always translate it as long as in your translation. You don't translate it as what, you don't translate it as whatever, you don't translate it as something amazing, or how amazing, or the thing. You don't translate it as that. You translate it as long as. This is the translation you're going to use, and we'll see how. And it's always going to be fi mahalli nasab, okay, because it's a verb. Okay, it's going to be, so what it's masdar, it and it's whatever comes with, see, it's going to be a masdar mu'awwal, and together it's going to be fi mahalli nasab ala dharf, because it's a dharf. Not it by itself, because it by itself is a harf, but it with its fi'l together is going to be fi mahalli nasab, right, ala dharf. So for example, سأحبك ما دمت حيا. This is what you hear in romance movies. I will love you as long as I live. Yeah, nonsense. Anyway, so سأحبك ما دمت حيا. I will love you as long as I live. So دام يدوم, to last. So ما دمت, as long as I last. Basically, as long as I last in terms of life. Yeah, that's literally what the sentence means. So you translate this as long as. You won't translate this as I will love you what lasts my life. You don't translate like that. That's just, it's weird. You translate it as I will love you as long as I live. Okay? Or أكرم ضيفي ما أقام عندي. I honor my guests as long as they stay with me. As long as they stay. Aqama can also mean the meaning of staying. So aqama, it means to stand, but it can also mean to stay, to be in a place. Okay. So as long as he stays with me, I will honor my guest as long as he stays with me. You have another example. I added this example because it's the example given in the textbook, but it has a star on it because it can go both ways. Okay. So for example, if I say سأفعل ما استطعت, I will do. Now, if we're going to use as long as, we'll say I will do as long as I am able to. As long as I am able to. But you can also see this as isim, as ma mawsula, and then you translate it as I will do what I am able to. So you can either say what I am able to, or you can also say as long as I am able to. You see how that works? So it can either be masdariya or it can be mawsula. How do you know? The meaning will tell you. And if both applies, then go with both. Because as long as it doesn't, there's no contradiction, then it's fine. Is that clear?
Islam, أحبك ما دمت حيا. So this is a fail, and this ما دمت is في محل نسب.
Yes, في محل نسب.
This complete is في محل نسب, and this is a مفعول به of أحبك.
Yes.
As long as I live.
No, it's not مفعول به because it's a ظرف. It's going to be مفعول فيه.
Yes, okay, because of time. Yes.
Yeah.
And حيا would be again as long as
like
I live.
Zombie train.
This would be like a tamiz, because as long as I live my life, like it sort of like adds clarity.
Zombie train.
To ma dumtu.
Sister Ilham, how can we take it as a hayyan as tamyiz. Tamyiz means something which clarifies the vague part, right?
Ambiguous.
So
Yeah,
as long as I live, ma dumtu means live, right? So, okay,
no,
as long as
I last. So it's ambiguous.
so
As long
hayyan
as you
is
last, what? You last a day, you last a year, you last a month.
okay.
I last my
Okay, as
entire
long.
life. Yeah.
Okay, jazakallah.
That's
Right.
basically. Okay. Any other questions on that one?
No, Sister Lam, jazakallah.
Okay, good. So that's important to understand that that's ma zamaniya, ma masdariya, zamaniya. Okay, it has to do with time, translated as long as. That's what you need to remember when it comes to ma masdariya, zamaniya. It's translated as long as. So if you can put as long as into that sentence and it makes sense, then it's ma zamaniya, right? Then we come to the second kind of ma masdariya, which is غير ظرفية or غير زمنية, which does not have to do with time. Doesn't have to do with time. So this is just ma plus a fi'l مضارع that has nothing to do with time. So it's just a normal fi'l, like يكتب, ما يكتب, has nothing to do with time. Okay, it's an action-based type of fi'l, verb. Still going to be a masdar mu'awwal, because remember, ma plus verb is going to give you ma masdariya plus a verb is going to give you masdar mu'awwal. It's going to give you a complex ism. So it's still a masdar mu'awwal. It can be, because now this one, it's not restricted to dharf, so it's not restricted to fi mahalli nasab, because it's not a dharf. It can be jar, can be nasab, can be rafa, fi mahalli rafa, fi mahalli nasab, fi mahalli jar. It can be anything depending on what role it's doing in the sentence, depending on what that masdar together is doing in the sentence. So you will classify it. If it comes before a harf of jar, it's going to be fi mahalli jar. If it's the doer, it's going to be fi mahalli rafa. If it's the maf'ul bihi, it's going to be fi mahalli nasab. So on and so forth. You understand. And this one is going to be translated as a masdar. Okay? And we will see how that comes in. So this one you can be able to replace with the masdar. If you replace with the masdar of that verb and it makes sense, then this is ma masdariya غير زمنية. Okay? So let's look at these examples. استغربت مما. So this is min plus ma. مما فعلت. I found it strange. So استغرب يستغرب, to find something strange or to be perplexed. Yeah. So I was perplexed with what you did. With what you did. Okay. So ما فعلت can easily be replaced by the masdar min fi'latika. Min fi'latika. I can actually say استغربت min fi'latika. So you can see ma fa'alta, you can replace with the masdar. And when we translate this, we don't translate, you can't say I was perplexed with what you did, but to avoid confusion with ma mawsula, you can say I was perplexed with your actions. See that? So now we are translating as a masdar. fi'latika. I was perplexed with your actions. You would see this actually in translations. Some of the translators, they would do this. They won't translate this as a ma mawsula, they would actually translate this as a masdar. Yeah. So instead of saying I was perplexed with what you did, they will say I was perplexed with your doings, your actions, as a masdar. Or it comes in the Quran, كما أخرجك ربك من بيتك بالحق. كما أخرجك. So this kind of masdar, by the way, another important tip is that it normally comes with ka. So if you see ka before ama, most likely it's going to be ma masdari. Okay, so that's an important tip. So كما أخرجك, it's like saying كإخراج ربك. Yeah, كإخراجك ربك. So there's a ka missing there. Like the expulsion, like your expulsion. So we'll translate that akhraja, to expel or to remove someone from some place. Expel, I think, is a better word. So kama akhrajaka rabbuka, like your master or your lord expelled you. That's the literal translation. But when you translate it as a master, then we say like your expulsion by your master, or like, yeah, like the expulsion of your master, like your expulsion of your master. It's a weird sentence, but I think you get the meaning. Yeah, is that clear?
I have a colleague. من فعلتك استغريتك This is the first example. Doesn't it seem like ma mausulia only?
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
And you're saying that it can be translated in masdar. So then the masdar above with zamaniya, it cannot be translated with masdar?
No. You'll always have as long as. You cannot say سأحبك, I will love you, ما دمت my lasting alive. You cannot say my lasting here. You'd say as long
with
as.
dumtu, dumtu cannot be changed into a masdar form in this pattern.
As long as it deals with time, some element of time, it's always going to be as long as. That's the meaning that should come in your mind. As long as.
Fail pattern could be in fail pattern. Yeah.
Yes.
But whereas in this ma masdariya, Sister Ilham, then why it is called the zamaniya as masdar muawwal then?
Both of them, because it's masdariya. Both of them are masdariya. Both of them, they make masdar. But because in Arab, when we label this, we will label this as masdar, but we will not translate it as a masdar. That's the difference. It's still going
we label
to
it as a masdar, but not as a masdar.
Yes, translating, we will translate it as long as, but we will label it as masdar muawwal. You would see it in the books, they will call it masdar muawwal. But the meaning is as long as. That's the difference.
Can you please add this point, Sister Ilham, in the book? Yes.
Okay, okay, I will add this.
And one more doubt, Sister Ilham. Can we, in this zarfiya, this one, ghair zamaniya, can we use it as ma mausula only? Because how would you differentiate between ma mausula and this ghair zarfiya?
That's a good question, and we will cover that. It's coming. Yeah. What's the difference between ma mausula? Because it sounds the same. Yeah. So we'll come to that. I think what I'm going to do, because it's already past time and we have still a lot to go, and the exercises and whatnot, there's quite a bit to go still. So what I'm going to do is we can end there, and then next week we can start from ma zaida. So we're left with two more, ma zaida, ma al-kafa. Then we look at the difference between ma masdariya and ma mawsula, how to identify the two, how to distinguish between the two, and then we can do the exercises. So your question will answer next week. Let me keep the element of surprise.
Hopefully, inshallah. Jazakallah khair, Sister.
Jazakallah khair. Any other questions? Let me see the chat here. Okay. Yeah. I agree. It's a lot, and these ma's, they can be very confusing. So we can end there. And then, inshallah, next week we'll pick up from ma zaida. If there are no more questions, then we can safely stop there.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. وإياكم جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. جزاك الله خيرا كثيرا.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.